app.
Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android App Addicts, episode 561. My name is Door to Door Geek, owner operator of this podcast. And I have no problem saying this podcast is brought to you by Jeffrey W., who is a former Patreon. But once you're a former Patreon, you're always in Podnuts' heart. So I definitely want to thank you, Jeffrey W., former Patreon, started in September 2016, ended around August 2017, which tells me Jeffrey did not actually stop his patronage. Jeffrey had a credit card change. Because whenever Patreons or PayPal's stop a year after they start, means the credit card company did not like that and they stopped it. So I want to thank you for your support, Jeffrey, and do not forget, you too can partake in this episode in this podcast in this network just by going to patreon.com/Android App Addicts. I am joined this week by Josh in the great North something. How are you doing, Josh?
Hey, Door. I'm doing all right. I've certainly been better, but yeah, I'm good. It's just knucklehead stuff. I spent all day today on a project which I took over, which you well know is a cake PHP sort of abandoned project, and it was yeah. Anyway, I spent all day and accomplished absolutely nothing, which isn't the first day on this project that's happened. So I am a little bit frustrated over the whole situation, but I'm extremely happy to be here with you, my friend.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Without sounding dumb, distractions are what make the world go round. We all like in like secrecy, we all like getting things done, we all like having work put in front of us and then saying we did something, but it's also equally satisfying to just completely zone in on something else and not worry about the normal humdrum.
Oh, I totally agree. It's yeah, I'm perhaps the world's worst developer, so I got that going for me as
Oh
well.
no, you haven't seen government developers yet, trust me. I've worked with people who for 3 years accomplished nothing. I'll just say that out loud. um
Well, I want to put this out there then. This is my call out for the week. Somebody send in some messages about projects they've done in Cake PHP or something
I
like that.
don't think we're I don't
Try to
think we're
make
gonna get a response for that.
try to make me feel better about this. Well, I was listening to another podcast called Syntax, which is a web development podcast, and that actually it made me feel better because they were describing some newer frameworks, Next.js and Gatsby, and they basically said, well, at least we're not working on a 40-year-old cake PHP project. So it made me made me realize, okay, maybe it's not just me.
Yeah, that would definitely not make me feel good. I will say on the like home market, has anything changed in your Android ecosystem here in like the last week?
No, not really, unless you count getting a ping pong table part of that.
Maybe if you use that score counter I brought like 3 weeks ago, then maybe it could.
Yeah, that I did not.
Mm,
Um,
that's
but
okay.
yeah, other than that, I mean, unfortunately, Ivor's not here because he could tell us about the three new phones that he
That's
got since last week.
exactly. And I will say he's slowly coming around to Lenovo as a company, which makes me feel better. Um, but I digress. Okay, here's something I have to put out there early because I don't know what the hell is going on. My mobile phone recently, I don't know when this started. I believe it's been going on for over a week, but I really can't tell. When I had my Bluetooth QCY T1 Bluetooth headbuds on, I used to be able to single tap the button and it would pause the audio. But now it's not pausing the audio. What it's doing is it's muting the audio. And even when It's in Podcast Addict, Google News, or any place else when I'm playing audio and I tap the button once, it doesn't play pause. And I've literally installed 20 plus applications trying to get control over when I tap the button. Nothing seems to work. And I don't know if I'm the only one out there experiencing this issue, but I don't understand what the hell's going on.
Oh, I'm pretty happy you brought that up. I have the same issue. I thought it was just me. When I tap it, it doesn't completely it mutes it to where it maybe does half the volume and sounds like crap. And then you hit it again and it goes back to the original sound. And so what I found is if I hold it for about a second instead of just kind of tapping the button, if I hold it, then it pauses. But if
Mm,
you hold it too long, then it goes to Google Assistant, and
right.
so it's sort of a sweet spot in there. So is
Well,
that the same thing yours is doing? Is if you hit it once, it just the volume decreases and it sounds like it's coming out of a tin can, or
No, when I tap mine, the volume completely goes away, but then I look at the phone and I can see time still passing. And if I don't touch anything, when the next episode starts or the next Google News thing starts, volume comes back.
so it must. That's so strange. Yeah, that's another shout. Anybody else having that problem? Like that, it's odd that we would both have it with different Bluetooth devices as well.
Well, and completely different operating systems. You are on a definite, what I would consider to be in the very nicest way possible, a beta user operating system. And I'm on an operating system that hasn't seen any system update in dramatic pause, dramatic pause, over 18 months. I have not got a system update. So I don't know how the hell all of a sudden my Bluetooth audio is completely acting different. Now I've gotten Google Chrome updates and I've gotten Google Play updates and I've gotten all kinds of updates like that, but not an operating system level update. Um, so I'm not sure. Hashtag not sure is all I know.
Yeah, because I'm using these. They're an Anchor Bluetooth, and I've had great luck with them, and I've really enjoyed using them. And then it was, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and it just I mean it took me a while to figure out to get that 1 second pause, kind of the between the tap and when Google Assistant comes on, just to make it, yeah, just to stop the audio.
Yeah, I don't know when mine happened, but the only reason I noticed was because I would hit pause, not touch anything. Excuse me, I thought I hit pause. I wouldn't hit anything. Then all of a sudden, the next episode of something would start up. What the hell? I didn't hit play. I know at least one night I did that, and I woke up the next morning and there was nothing in my podcast player where I know I had hours of content waiting for me. So it really did make me quite irate when I figured that out. And it might have been going on for weeks. I do think it's a Bluetooth issue. I've downloaded at least 20 applications saying that they're Bluetooth remapper applications. I've downloaded applications that said that they are QCYT1 button remappers, which is the Bluetooth earbuds I have. Nothing is changing the behavior of the button.
What I found is that, yes, I would hit it, or and it was the same thing. It would come back and the episode would be over and something else would be playing. And that I attributed to pushing it too long, and having the Google Assistant or whatever come up and not hearing it, and then it eventually just sort of goes away, and then the podcast keeps playing. So I'm sure this is intriguing conversation, but
Well,
yeah, it's odd.
it's one of those things. This is an example how we as users, as normal users, actually have no power over our own operating system. It's owned and controlled and operated by Google. And I'll say Mark in the chat, and if you would like to participate in the chat, we try to go live Thursday nights 9 p.m. New York time. Mark in the chat said, "Have you tried to unpair and repair your earbuds?" I will say, it doesn't matter if I unpaired and repaired 3 seconds ago or 3 days ago, I get the exact same action and reaction now. Because I did. First thing I did was I went into my Bluetooth and I deleted the entry for both of my earbuds, and then I repaired them, and then hit pause, and it didn't pause. But yes, the default behavior with any computer related activity is, have you tried to turn it off and on again? And sometimes that works. But yeah, that's my hardware drama, I'll say, for the last like week.
No, I can appreciate that for sure. Um, and I don't know if you remember a few episodes ago, I had brought a tree tracker app, um, where we had all tried it out, you, Ivor, and myself, and it was just broken. And so I've been, actually, they reached out to me, and I'm in one of their Slack channels now, and so hopefully we can get it all sorted out, and because I do think it's a pretty interesting project.
Gotcha. Well, I like when things get fixed. Hopefully it gets fixed because, you know, well, the logic is you said that this wasn't like your best day. Well, here's the good news, Josh. If it was your best day ever, then there's only one direction to go, and that's down. Okay. So we got to always remember that it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. I'm going to put a link in the chat. I wanted to bring this first and foremost only because I thought it might tickle your fancy is the best way I could put it. I don't remember ever hearing about this. Okay. It's called the Cosmo Communicator, which sounds like something from a Nickelodeon show. Okay. Cosmo Communicator can now dual boot Linux and Android smartphone slash handheld PC. Okay. This was apparently a Kickstarter thing that completely went by me. It was first unveiled in late 2018, so just about 2 plus years ago, and it began shipping to backers, I want to say less than 4 months ago. And what it is, it's basically a phone. If you remember the old phones where you would basically flip it open, and inside the clamshell type design would be a keyboard, and then the other half would be the full screen. When closed, you have a much smaller screen and some basically physical controls. Um, so it's definitely a impressive device in the fact it was successful in its Kickstarter, in its delivery, in its putting things out there. It's not impressive in its specification. And I will say it's also impressive in the community support that it has gotten. So if you have to have a dual boot Android Linux pocketable device with a physical keyboard, there's not many options you can have, but one of them is the Cosmo Communicator.
Well, I'm seeing the specs. It said it had 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage.
Yes, that is not bad, but I will say the MediaTek Helio P70 processor is not a new processor, not at all processor. So your like RAM speed and your disk IO speed doesn't seem to be bad, but the processor doesn't seem to be great, nor does the GPU processor on it. So I would expect when you click things to wait at least a split second, if not a couple seconds, which makes for a very non-desirable um um experience is the way that I'll put it.
Does I haven't seen. Oh, 21. It has a nice. Seems like it has a pretty decent screen.
Yeah,
Um,
and the, link in the notes to the Lilputin, if you page down a couple times, you'll then finally see the actual device opened and device closed, and I will say closed, it has a nice looking 2-inch screen with physical controls on it to where you probably could do a fair amount of, like, interacting with your notifications, but then to actually interact with the OS, you actually open it up, and it's a very old style clamshell design, which, to be honest, I could find really useful and functional if I had quiet time to interact like that.
well, it seems like it says it has a 4220 mAh battery, which it seems like you'd want something a little bit bigger in a device like this. Because what
Yeah.
Ivor last week said his phone had a 5,000 or something, didn't it? And that was for a phone.
Yeah, his had a ridiculously big battery in it, and I will say I agree with the, YouTube chat, Rob Collins. This is basically a more modern version of a PDA, personal digital assistant, something that we think died about 15 years ago. Yeah, I'll just say I found it interesting is what I'll say. But I'll say equally confounded, confused. We have another device premiering, and quite literally, these guys are now jumping the gun. Okay, we have the Microsoft Neo and the Microsoft Duo coming out later this year, much later this year. I believe it's not until October or November. And LG, the company we basically thought was dead, says that they're coming out with a new V60 ThinQ, THINQ 5G, shows what looks like the dual screen with the huge seam in the middle device. Um, I will just, in the nicest way I can put it, the Microsoft Surface Duo might be better hardware fit and finish than this device, but LG has more experience in this arena, is what I'll say. I'll be shocked if the Microsoft device is dramatically more successful than this device. With that stated, I don't think this device is going to even be moderately successful because who wants a dual screen device with literally a quarter-inch seam between the screens? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Uh, mm, it's all it's all right. I mean, I can see your point with the big the break in between the screens, but just looking at the little map there, it's quite helpful to have, that much more. I guess you could just zoom out too. Yeah, I don't know. It might be good for reading books.
I mean, there is a use case for it, but I don't think it's a popular use case for it. Um, I do think that they might have enough developers on board to maybe customize some applications to make it actually functional. But in reality, I think it's just a gimmick. I think it's just they're just trying to get headlines because I don't see anybody standing up, running out their front door, saying to themselves, "Self, I need this device."
Well, I can almost guarantee it'll be cheaper than the Microsoft Duo.
Well, that's not very difficult now, is it?
It's not. But LG does stand for less genius, so maybe that's their point.
Lucky Gold Star. Okay, here's another one, and this one I brought. I don't remember, and honestly, I hate to say this. I know this was is Walfala from the YouTube chat brought this, I believe, brought this to me in the Discord chat. And this is the kind of thing that really piques my interest, yet I have no time whatsoever to actually dig into this. Okay. We've been promised Google Stadia ubiquitous gaming from any device. We've also been promised NVIDIA ubiquitous gaming from any device. This is slightly different, is what I gather. This is called Parsec, Parsec. Nope, it's not a Star Wars reference. Okay. This is an application, this is an ecosystem, this is a infrastructure that's installable on Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android. Okay. Hypothetically, me, Josh, Ivor, and Fizz want to all play one game, 4-player multiplayer. It looks like if one of us has a Windows computer and is willing to host this, the other three can join in on any of the other platforms and we can multiplayer even if Ivor is in New Zealand, I'm in America, Josh is in Canduadia, and Fizz is in some miraculously golden place that we don't know of. We could all multiplayer using this application over a wide area network. This to me is interesting is what I'm gonna say. Um, of course, surprised the link I put in was a bad link.
Yeah, it's got a 404.
I know.
Yes, I saw on there it was they showed Double Dragon. So
Yeah.
this is straight up emulator?
Well, I'll put it like this. I don't want to say it doesn't matter what you play. I do believe the Windows computer needs to be able to launch the game. Everybody else needs to run the same game. So I do think like Steam compatible games work better, is what I want to say. Um, Either way, here's the thing. I'm a fan of simplistic gaming. One of the games they show is Cuphead. Cuphead is hard, dude. Let me tell you something right now. Um, Cruising USA is another one. Street Fighter, I know I played ridiculously in back in the day. And I would say if
GoldenEye.
you right, if you know somebody who used to live, 5 doors down from you and you used to play video games together and now they live 3 miles, 30 miles, 300 miles, 3,000 miles away, it's now literally possible using one of these platforms to multiplayer with them. So Parsec is the one that I would encourage people to look at just because it seems to be more free and open to the number of platforms it can run on, is what I'll say. And I want to thank Fizz for bringing this to my attention. I salute you. You're a good man.
How
I
do they ma how do they
don't want to
make
assume your
money?
gender. Sorry. You're a good person.
How do they make money?
I don't care. Because here's the thing, if you offer me wide area network play, I'm willing to with people I haven't talked to for decades, I have no problem paying you 3, 5, maybe even $10 a month if it is that damn good. Um,
Well, right, but
Everything I
I'm
saw was free.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering is no, I'm totally in on this. This is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I don't know how the hell they make money. I'll just say that.
Oh, they have the support here.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. That's
Nothing
just
I clicked
support from
showed me
them.
that
Sweet.
yeah. Nothing I clicked showed me them making money, so I don't know. And it's a completely free app in the store. No in-app purchases required, no in-app ads, no nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. I like it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's pay some Double Dragon.
Okay. I got like one more, I think, news related thing I just wanted to bring. And I don't want to say I told you so to everybody, but you know, Little Putin, again, I love Little Putin. If you know anybody involved with this website, just let them know that they're not forgotten. And if they offered a way that we could donate to them openly, I, for one, would do so because the amount of content they bring me every week is magnifique. Okay. This is an ad. This is a article saying more 16 gig RAM smartphones are on the way as Samsung begins to mass produce new LPDDR5 chips. Long story short, Samsung not only is one of the biggest producer of screens, not only a very big maker of chips, main processors, they're also one of the main manufacturers of RAM in smartphones in the world. And they're starting to now really like push production up on the 16 gig chips for smartphones. So expect in the next year 8, 12, and 16 to be the normal amount of RAM you get in a phone now. I had at least one person tell me how this is ridiculous. This is stupid. This makes no sense. My desktop doesn't have that much RAM. Yes, but your desktop is not running a Java based operating system that loves RAM. Okay, number one, you're running a desktop operating system that respects your RAM and has things like swap space that it utilizes, where Android is a belligerent caretaker of RAM. So I can tell you now, a 16 gig RAM phone running anything will run anything better than a phone with 4 gig of RAM.
Well, I also have in my kitchen a Samsung fridge, dishwasher, and a stove as well. So I think that my dishwasher has about 512 megs of RAM.
Well, hopefully it doesn't need 16 gigs. Then I'll say this. I'm not buying a phone with 16 gigs. I'm not saying this because I'm asking people to buy a 16 gig phone. I'm saying the elitist, journalist, propaganda spewing entities out there, let them buy the 16 gig phones. Let the famous basketball players buy the 16 gig RAM phones. Let the celebrities buy the 16 gig RAM phone to bring the prices down. So a year or two from now, when I want a smartphone, I can buy a 16 gig phone and not spend $1,000+ So I'm happy these things are being produced. I'm happy they're being manufactured. If you, a listener of this show, can afford a 16 gig RAM phone, testify. Congratulations, you're doing something right. Because I can't.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I can't even afford 16 gigs of RAM for a computer.
I barely pulled that off, but I did. Um, do you want to start with some apps there, Josh?
Yes, surely. This one I found the other day, and it's called Moonshades, and it is a dungeon explorer um, by Baldric Soft Games, role playing. Everyone 10 and up, 4.7 average reviews out of 17,562, and 100,000 plus installs, 75 megs, updated 22nd of February 2020, current version 1.0.236, Android 4.4 and up, and needs to be able to store on your device, blah blah, not too much as far as that goes. And yes, I played. I've made it through about 4 levels so far, and it's just an old school dungeon crawler, and it's quite fun. I don't know. I'm kind of a gear junkie when it comes to like I. My wife really likes rock climbing, and I don't really like rock climbing, but I like all the gear that comes with it because it's like anodized aluminum, and so that's the only reason I like it is the gear, and so something like this, I like upgrading my boots, and I'm gonna stop talking now unless you want to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I will say I do like Dungeons and Dragons, and this reminds me of an old Intellivision game. Now, caveat: there was a couple Intellivision games that were advanced Dungeons and Dragons. There was the one where it was you had a very small avatar in the middle of the screen. You would run around the maze, but there was the other one where you would literally first person walk through a maze, and this is what that is like. But I can tell you right now to the listener in audio, I am almost shocked at the graphics that are portrayed in this game because they could have really cheaped out and have really bad texture maps on everything, and they didn't. They texture maps actually looks good, and when you walk around, you don't see a lot of like screen tearing, screen ripping, bad
Mm,
things happening on the screen. It looks very clean.
it
Um,
is, yeah,
and
it is. It's smooth. Yeah, I never came across any sort of glitches.
right, and the other thing is, I'll tell people right now. Okay, let's first pause. Moonshades, a dungeon crawler role playing game for Android and iOS, is the name of the video on YouTube. And if you take a look at the video, and if you look at 52 seconds, and if you ever watch the movie Galaxy Quest, you'll have flashbacks because he's looking down a hall and he's seeing what looks like mindless contraptions that make no sense, then they're just there to kill you. And that's what this looks exactly like, kind of thing. I definitely would like to find some time to at least play this game a little bit just because it looks different enough and interesting enough. Good find.
Yeah, it's quite fun. Um, I'll hopefully get back to it as well because I got some potions to mix up.
Gotcha. Okay, well, what I want to bring, um, it's technically an app. I want to say it's called Padloc, Padloc. And here's the way I'll put it. I know as a nerd, I have to leave LastPass before LastPass leaves me. Okay. LastPass is still by far number one most secure, most trusted password management solution out there. Okay. They're one of the few password management solutions out there that does not use a clipboard. Now, you can argue how important that is. And I'm not arguing how important it is if a password manager uses a clipboard. I am saying if you use the built in clipboard, you're not doing your due diligence as a programmer to use safe and secure transport mechanisms to push things back and forth. There's 2 of them I've been looking at. One of them is integrated into Nextcloud. Nextcloud is my personal hosted Dropbox solution. This is the other one I'm looking at, again called Padloc, Padloc, Padloc And if you go to download, you can download it on everything. It is completely open source, it is completely self-hostable, and they have at least invited third-party auditors to take a look at their code. I don't know if a third-party auditor has actually looked at their code yet, but they've literally invited them to look at their code and audit it. Um, I do believe having a easy installable self-hosted solution for secure password management is the kind of thing a nerd like me needs to be able to use and recommend to others. And that's the most important thing right there. And I purposely said all that very slow. It doesn't matter if you're open source. What matters is, are you open source? Are you trusted? Are you audited? And do you use best practices in transmission of this data? And I will say Padlock is one of the ones that seems to hit almost every one of those bells pretty you know, non-violently, gingerly, if you will. They hit the bells, and they do have hosted plans where you can pay them, but you don't have to.
And you looked into Passman as well then?
Passman is the one that I installed last week on my Nextcloud, and I played with for a little bit, and I was pretty impressed by that. And that is Passman. Um, really, really good solution, and you can easily import your LastPass CSV file. But in my instance, I could not go to Passman and click import and click LastPass CSV. I had to go to generic CSV to import it for some reason.
But is that an issue?
No, no,
Okay.
it's just the kind of
Okay.
thing I was able to work through because I'm a nerd in about 20 minutes. This one I have not played with yet. The fact that it's self-hostable, open sourced helps, and the fact that they are offering a independent third auditor to come in and take a look, at least makes me want to pay attention to them.
What is your plan for, or do you have a contingency plan as far as, you're hosting this and your server blows up? Like, are you encrypting and offloading somewhere else for offsite backup?
Well, that's what I gotta see. I gotta see if any of these solutions offer a automatable way to export my list to a trusted repo where I can then utilize those passwords uh, in other ways. But I'll say with Passman, I know I can simply get it exported out every week via a shell script. I don't know about this Padlock.
And then, so you could just get that CSV file and have it encrypted and then throw it onto wherever AWS or
Well, I personally wouldn't host my enemies things on AWS, but
not
yes, you
host,
could.
but yeah, the cold storage, whatever it is,
Yes,
an encrypted file, whatever.
right, or Google Drive or Dropbox or anybody else, or yeah. I know. It's just the
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing I'm exploring, but at the same token, I am not quickly leaving LastPass because I do think we have time. I do think we literally have 2 to 3 years before LastPass has its first official breach where actual passwords get leaked, because that's never happened yet. I think it's inevitable, but I still think we're over 2 years away.
yeah. Well, they're definitely over the last 6 months or so. They've definitely had some stumbling points. And I yes, I've been looking as well. I even paid for a year of Bitwarden, just basically so that I could screw myself up by testing that one while still using LastPass and saving some passwords in Bitwarden and saving some in LastPass. And now it's just going to be a mess when I decide to pick one. But I do like the look of this padlock. I might have to give that a try. I just I don't call me paranoid, but when LogMeIn bought LastPass, that was when I first started the new search.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand people's instinctual knee-jerk reaction to want to immediately leave LastPass, but, there's a sweet time. If you are a time traveler looking back at today, you would say there's an optimal time to where you should have left LastPass, and that time was not when LogMeIn bought them. It's sometime after that. I don't know when, but it's sometime after that.
Well, you once you get that big, it's just you're a target.
Well, they're the low-hanging fruit, and they're gonna make a mistake. The only question is, when is that mistake gonna literally cost users privacy, credentials, and everything else? It hasn't happened yet, and I will say, don't believe me. Look at the history of all the exploits, of all the vulnerabilities, of all the side loading attacks, of all the click jacking things that happened to LastPass, and there's not been a single instance where actual credentials were compromised. Um,
It's it's one of those things where I mean, you say it quite a bit when we're looking at apps, say your counter app or your alarm clock app, and it comes down to this wasn't updated since 2015. So there might be a vulnerability somewhere in the code of LastPass now, but as you evolve as a project, you start adding new features, a new code base, and yeah, your attack vector just increases. So I agree. I don't know how much updating a password manager needs if you're not providing more features and com- constantly upgrading your product.
yeah, I mean, you know, the only time features need to be pushed is when platforms change, like browsers change, so then you can offer new features. Android operating systems change, so you can offer new features. If you just push features for features' sake, then you're going to have vulnerabilities introduce themselves like ridiculously.
And I think that's what the issue with having being bought by a larger company is that it's shareholders, or it's pushing them, getting more sales and getting more sales. So no longer is it a password manager, it's now a VPN as well, or whatever type of other features you're going to throw on there in order to say, oh, we also do this, come by us. And that's where the issues start, I think.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I did have an app here, Josh, that as soon as I saw, I thought of you, is what I'll say. Maybe not, but I thought it was worth a try.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna play Ivor for a second. Is it a poop app?
no, it's not. I don't even know how to pronounce this. I think it's called Muviz, Muviz, Movies Edge, Music Visualizer Edge, Music Lightning by Spark Ini Labs. Personalization, 1,900 reviews, E for everyone. Does have some in-app purchases, completely free to download, no in-app ads. 4.6 average reviews, updated February 27, 2020, 4.1 megs in size, 100,000 plus installs. Version 1.0.8.0, 5.0 Android and up, content rating everyone. In-app purchases 99 cents to $1.49. Both of them sound like really low numbers to me. Needs access to your device app history, photos, media, files, storage, microphone, and other. The other is just the normal network access, audio settings, run at startup kind of thing. This is almost akin to the old school Winamp visualizer. Now, I'm sorry, boomers, you have to take a rest. I have to explain this to the millennials. Back in the day, we would literally load up a music application on our desktop computer, load our favorite playlist or artist up, and then hit full screen. And we would just sit back and we would see dramatic visualizations that would that are really hard to explain, but they would encapsulate our music in almost a like artistic, like digital dance like form. Okay. This tries to emulate that, but only on the edge of your device. So you could be listening to music, browsing Twitter, browsing whatever social platform you like, browsing your news stream or whatever, and the edge of your screen would still have the remnants of the visualization going on just on the edge of your device. So I thought this was interesting in its utilization, is the way I'll put it. At the same token, it's consuming battery and screen time up. So, be prepared for that. Uh, if you listen to music and you enjoy music, I think this is the kind of thing that could add a little bit of enjoyment while you peruse your endless streams and feeds.
How does it work, Door? You you just start playing music and this app is running in the background, I assume, and capturing the beat,
Well,
or is it a
any
music player itself?
it isn't a music player. Any audio coming over your speakers, it basically can hear, listen to, and react. Is what I'll say.
So it's only the speakers, or is it Bluetooth as well?
I don't believe it was Bluetooth. I think it was
Oh,
anything that was playing over the actual phone itself.
that's a deal breaker. Although it would be fun to listen to Android app addicts with Winamp visuals.
I'll just say it's a beginning. I don't know of any app that does this kind of thing, so maybe it's the kind of thing that they could, maybe, have in, like, the next version.
It is Rob in the chat is saying it is Bluetooth.
Oh, good. Cool. Thank you, Rob.
It's just looking for any audio output. Good job, Rob. I knew
Thank
we
Rob.
kept you around for a reason.
Yeah, sure.
Um, this app is another one that I haven't had a lot of time to play, but it was on sale, so
I like a sale.
I like sales. It is called Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and
Huh.
it's by Bezier Games. Board games, 4.7 average reviews out of 783, 90 megs in size, 10,000 plus installs. So apparently, this is based on a board game, which I was unaware of, and I think I paid $1.39 for it, something like that. But it's kind of a puzzle game. Since I have no friends, I will just play it against AI, and you're building a castle basically with tiles that come up from above, and that's as far as I've gotten. But I'm definitely going to be trying to play it more. It looks like quite an intriguing puzzle type game, and from what I could tell, this Castles of Mad King Ludwig is a fairly popular board game.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, and I really hate saying I ain't gonna lie. The name alone is utterly interesting. The format alone, the idea of the game is something I don't know if I would have ever thought of. It's a numeric math puzzle board game where like Josh said, you're building a castle every time. Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Fantastic name.
Hmm.
Very cool. And now can I ask, right now I see it in the US is $7.99. How much did you pay for it in your Canadian dollars?
I think it was a $1.39 or something like
Yeah,
that.
see, that's nothing. He's
So that
dreaming.
tell me streaming again. Watch the castle, people. The yeah, I kind of stray away sometimes from useful apps, as you do when you don't have as much time. But I fired up app sales and just looked at apps that are on sale, free apps. I'm pretty sure the app sales has been brought at least once or five times on this show, but apps like that are quite useful if you're just looking to find something new, and you can find apps that are now free or on sale, and a lot of times they'll be brand new apps or apps like this that are $7 apps and they're $1.50 now.
Right.
So that's my tip of the day.
Very cool. One more I want to bring really quick, and it's only because it did catch some news cycles. Um, I'm really unsure what to think about its longevity is the best way I can put it. And that is NVIDIA GeForce Now. NVIDIA basically is trying to launch a uh, streaming competing service to Google Stadia. And by trying, what I really mean to say is they've actually been secretly researching this for in excess of 2 years. They've actually had this in beta form for, I believe it's over 6 months. So there's little doubt if they want to be successful, they will at least be moderately successful. Long and the short of it is using any device, Chromebook, Android, iOS, Mac, Linux, Windows. I do believe it does support Linux. You can stream your Steam games. So you have a Steam account, you have games on your Steam, you connect to this service, you put in your Steam credentials, it basically loads a Steam client on their servers, and then you can play your Steam games from quote unquote anywhere. Um, I don't know if this is going to be successful. You're never going to win over the people running the $3,000+ desktops, and to make this a viable solution is what I'm going to say. Um, I want to say this was $10 a month. I might be mistaken, but let me start over. NVIDIA GeForce Now from NVIDIA tools 3,200 plus reviews. T for teen, completely free to install, no in-app ads, no in-app purchases, 3.7 average reviews, updated February 1st, 2020, size 33 megs, 500,000 plus installs, current version 5.25, blah, blah, blah. 5.0 Android and up, content rating, T for teen, diverse content, discretion advised because anything that's on Steam can have this. Lots of permissions are offered, and it does not show any in-app purchase price variables, which concerns me a little bit. I think it was $10 a month. Yeah, I'll just say the competition is going to get tight, and this is a app that has no video in the Play market. Why? Because they don't need a video in the Play market. Um, I would love to know somebody who actually is using this on Android just to hear their interactions. I've heard about people running it on Chrome OS. I've heard about people running it on desktops, and they both said that they were really, or the all people have said they were really impressed at how the frame rate stayed constant and things seemed to quote unquote just work.
So this is the yeah, I'm a derelict when it comes to gaming at this point, unfortunately. Um the the Nvidia the Nvidia Shield, is that their main, is that a gaming thing? Give me a
Uh,
rundown here on how this works.
there was two of them. There's the NVIDIA Shield tablet, and then there was the NVIDIA Shield, which was a handheld unit with buttons and stuff built in like a controller. And then there's the NVIDIA Shield TV interface. Okay. Let me get that right. Okay. All of them are really like higher end devices. The NVIDIA Shield tablet was definitely better than any Amazon device you could buy. The NVIDIA Shield TV is definitely better than any set top box Android based thing you could buy, period. Okay. The NVIDIA GeForce Now is a remote service that you could purchase to play your games on anything, whether it be a Shield TV, an NVIDIA Shield tablet, whether it be your Android phone, another Android tablet, a Chromebook, or anything else. So think of it almost like, dare I say, the Netflix of gaming. But instead of being the Netflix of gaming, it's the Netflix of allowing you to access your Steam library anywhere.
Oh, okay. So it is you. You might have said this before. I was looking at something. The so is it only Steam then?
Mhm.
So Nvidia is a wrapper around Steam,
Yeah. For now, it's only Steam. I'm not sure why they're only doing Steam, but right now I do believe it's just Steam.
and so where the Stadia is games that are yeah, that's so confusing to me.
Yeah, think of Stadia as like the difference between PlayStation and Xbox. Even though the same games might be available, if you buy them on one platform, that does not mean they're available to you on the same platform, kind of thing.
And so where do the Stadia games come? I mean, are they ported just for Google?
Basically, yes, but Google has been paying developers to port some of their games.
And so I would imagine that the Stadia has a much bigger catalog of games.
No, that's the thing. Right now, Enforce, NVIDIA GeForce probably has 100 times greater of a library because it's piggybacking off of Steam.
That's what I sorry, I misspoke. That's what I meant. Yeah. So yes, of course. The hmm.
Yeah, so it's the kind of thing, do you wanna bet on Google being the future? If so, Stadia might be a viable option, and there is a no monthly payment plan with Google, where you can literally just go on the platform and in air quotes, "buy your games," and then you can play your games, or you can buy your games on Steam, play them on your normal desktop rigs, play them on your normal laptop rigs, and then pay an extra $10 a month to have them available to you on NVIDIA GeForce. You know, I'm not gonna say one is obviously a right decision because I don't think either one of them are hitting my quote unquote sweet spot, but I like the fact that we have options.
Yeah, just with my limited knowledge on that, I would say that I think that the I like the Nvidia model a bit more.
Yeah, and I mean, I already have at least 60 games in my, Steam library, where my Google Stadia library, because it's brand new, I literally have nothing. I have to start from scratch, which sucks.
Nvidia's they've it's interesting. Watching their curve as far as the business goes. I mean, I don't know a lot about their history, but they seem to have marketed the Bitcoin mining pretty well and made a pretty good chunk of cash, on their GPUs. And
Yeah,
now with
yeah. They, pivoted after that very appropriately is the way I'll put it.
and it's great too. I mean, that's the sign of a good company. So, maybe it is all right to bank on them as far as this goes.
Right. So do you have any more apps there? And if you don't, it's okay. Don't stress.
No, I really I do. Oh, you know what? I do. I do. Um this is another one that I downloaded and I don't fully understand it, but it was kind of fun. Um it is called Ultimate EMF Detector Pro. And this was another one that I think I might even download it for free. Pretty sure I did. I don't think I would pay for this app. But it uses your phone's sensors to detect magnetic fields. And it has a nice little meter on it. And how accurate it is, I don't know. And I didn't even realize that you could do something like this with your phone. Um, but I went around my kitchen with it, for instance, and the highest output of EMF was actually the granite countertops in the kitchen over I didn't try it when the microwave was running, but just going through appliances that were off, it would definitely the meter would go, but it was the countertops that I found had the largest EMF.
Gotcha. I really wish what podcast it was in the last week where the absolutely unbelievably incompetent host did
Was it
not
this one and me or
no,
no?
they did not know that Android phones have had magnetometers in them since like 2010. They've all had magnetometers because they tried to say the compass was not using a magnetometer, which of course they didn't even know the word magnetometer. They tried to say that they didn't think it recognized an actual compass in there, and they thought it was instead using GPS and Wi-Fi to determine which way you were pointing. The dirty secret is it uses everything. It uses GPS, it uses Wi-Fi, and the magnetometer to try to be as accurate as possible in them. And the reason I know Android phones have had magnetometers in them literally since 2010, the very first Android phones, like the Droid X, had specialized car mounts. And the specialized car mounts, when you put them in, had a magnet in a very specific spot. And when your phone recognized a magnet in that very specific spot, it would then automatically turn on car mode. And there are phones still today sold with very specific car mounts where if you buy them and you put your phone in that car mount, you will automatically get a new interface, aka car mode. Um, all Android phones have had magnetometers, period. They've all had gyroscopes, magnetometers, GPS, Wi Fi, Bluetooth, period. So, for any Android host out there that does not understand what a magnetometer is, you as a listener should do your due diligence, write them an email, and let them know they need to do a little bit of education, a little bit of research, instead of just being journalists and being content publishers begging for money because there's more than a couple out there, people. And I know I sent an email in and I didn't get a reply back because, why would I?
Whereas we always respond to email store, which we could use
Uh,
some more of.
we try to. I'll just say this: EMF fields are everywhere, and that's a dirty secret about EMF fields. It doesn't matter. Everything puts off an EMF field. We put off electromagnetic fields. Everything does because everything has electrons, protons, and neutrons. So it's just a fact of life. I would say this: I'd be interested to see what would give off more than less in my house because I'm pretty sure the only thing I know is I don't know. What would give off high or low? I don't know.
Here's a question for you, Dor.
12 inch.
A gyroscope on a phone. How does that work?
Basically the same way a gyroscope works on anything else. It can understand which way gravity is pulling at it at any moment. So what it notices is the change in gravity when you tilt something from one side to the other. Same way a plane recognizes the horizon line. It's using a gyroscope. The difference is in phones, that component is unbelievably small. So all it is basically a gravity detector.
We should do a podcast that is basically just teaching me things because I don't know anything.
I don't know about that. I'll say here's a game I found, and the only reason I'm bringing this is it reminds me of I don't know if you remember this back in the day, Josh. StarCraft. StarCraft was insanely popular. Okay, this is completely free. No in-app ads, no in-app purchases. Again, completely free, no in-app ads, no in-app purchases, called Star Pirates Mobile by Snakehead Games Incorporated, role-playing E for everyone. Um, no reviews. I don't know how. Um, Updated January 31st, 2020, 17 megs in size, 10 plus installs, current version 0.1.6, requires 4.1 Android and up, content rating E for everyone, mild fantasy violence. Permissions, it does need full network access. That is it. This is basically a StarCraft on Android. I'm shocked at the amount of polish in this game versus the lack of downloads in this game is what I'm going to say. Um, Maybe it's the fact that it's called Snakehead Games. I don't know. But Star Pirates Mobile, if you're interested in that StarCraft exploration, mining, role playing aspect of it, this, to be honest, is shockingly good, is what I'm saying. Literally, shockingly good.
It looks terrific. I can't 10 plus installs, are you kidding me?
I know. I
What
know.
is what's
Well,
happening here?
my guess is they haven't taken out any loans and tried to pay tech journalists to publicize them.
It doesn't even matter, like, it's 10 plus installs?
I know. So I'm going to bring just one more for giggles. Okay. This one I'm bringing thanks to in part of computer tech is the handle computer tech 101, I believe is tech. He has a Mibit IRC room. Really nice guy. He's a gearhead, so I figured I'd try to tweak him a little bit. And he was a car nut, so I found this game. It's called Overdrive City Car Tycoon Game by GameLoft SE. We should know the name GameLoft SE. It's a simulation game, 7,900 reviews. E for everyone does have in-app ads, does have in-app purchases, completely free to download. 4.1 average reviews. Updated February 26, 2020. 953 megs in size. That's a biggie.
Whoa.
Yeah. 500,000 installs. Current version 0.834 requires 4.4 Android and up. Content rating E for everyone. In-app purchase 99 cents to $99. Permissions, everything. This thing wants access to everything because it's a Game Loft game. What this is it's essentially a simulation game, but it's not a city simulator. It's a simi. It is a city simulator revolving around you being the car manufacturer slash governor of this city. So if you're a gearhead and you love the idea of making cars, testing cars, kind of thing, this is the absolute game for you, is what I will say. Overdrive City Car Tycoon game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, have you played it?
I loaded it for like 3 minutes. I don't know nothing about no cars. So stuff quickly made no sense to me.
Hmm. I mean, it looks like it's a pretty game,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't think I'll be installing this. 953 megs.
Gotcha. So,
No, it's not the size. It's not the size door.
it's not.
It's just the
It's
what?
the amount of downloads.
What is going on there?
I don't know. So, do you have any last games to talk about there?
No, no, I'm done.
Okay. Do you have any parting words there?
That I do. Yeah, never have games, Door, but I do have words. We miss you, Ivor, and just so that you're aware, your brother is trying to take your spot. So just know that and feel better, brother.
Yep, absolutely. I want to thank this time to thank everyone for their downloads. Thank everyone for participating. Thanks everyone for their support. The quick rundown: Cosmo Communicator, LG ThinQ V60, Parsec, a 16 gig phone, Moonshades, a dungeon crawler RPG, Padloc, password manager, Muviz, Edge, Castles of Mad King Ludwig, NVIDIA GeForce Now, Ultimate EMF Detector Pro, Star Pirates Mobile, and Overdrive City Car Tycoon game. If you want to send us a voicemail, 7076 Podnut. If you want to send us an email, aaa@podnutz.com. And I thank everyone for downloading. Ivor Misha, just like Josh said. And I will talk to everyone again in about a week. And I got to potty real hard.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for hanging out, Biz. Sorry about that, Josh. Had to when you gotta go, you gotta go. So, file, save project.
Whew.
Sorry about sorry about that. I had to run.
Oh no, I just got back to, man. That was
561. Oh, man. So am going to say this. I'm looking at the end of March sometime to do a quote unquote like live stream. And during live stream, I got no problem. A part of it literally just sitting there and watching the castle because I've watched it now like in the last month at least 5 times.
you have?
Before it
Okay,
goes.
cool.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
I
And
love the
does it
dad.
get better? Does it get better every time? Like it's
Yeah, it was already good. Like the second or third time, it was there already.
okay, cool. Yeah.
Um, the the youngest son is just such a doofus. Oh my god.
He's so great. Tell him what you did. Come on, tell him what you did. Dale dug a hole. I dug a
Yeah,
hole.
dug a hole. Yeah. He's in ideas, man. I like
Steve's an
him.
ideas man. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's what I was talking about before. Is he's talking about he's like, oh, he made dog dishes out of tractor hubcaps, and
Yes,
they're
yes.
literally just tractor hubcaps.
Exactly. Just turn on their side kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so do this. First come down here. Let me go through my Git pocket because I've audited that in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
Ooh,
jeez, I got something going on here. Stop.
let's say bulk edit, right? That's this one. And I tell you this, that LG V60 ThinQ,
The
I
what?
got feedback from like 2 or 3 people saying how stupid that LG is. What are they thinking? Are they insane? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, innovators don't do safe things. They don't. Innovators get screamed at. What are you thinking? Are you an idiot? And that's what they're doing. They're being screamed at. Are you an idiot? So maybe they're on the right path. I don't know. I'll just say I'm happy people are doing different stuff.
There's I had a hold on, give me a minute. I'm gonna find
Yeah.
this phone that I have.
All righty. I want to play some more Star Pirates. That was shockingly good. I only got to play it for like 20, 30 minutes. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, good. Make sure my Patreon spreadsheet was cleared out because I forgot to do it last time. Insert 20 rows. 61. Control C. Control V. Okay, now again back here. The last thing was Overdrive City, which I will say is shockingly good looking.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
there's
if
just
you
something I don't. It's not the right way either.
if you want something possibly simplistically addictive, I have one of them too. I didn't bring it because I only played with it for like 30 minutes. No, what am I saying? 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I'll put it in the chat here. And this is a noodle cake game. Warning, warning. This is a noodle cake game called Summer Catchers. Noodle Cake Studio Inc. Adventure. E for everyone, blah, 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 blah. This game, if you look at the video, it doesn't do it justice, is the way I'll put it. At the beginning of each level, you have to pick what power ups you want to use during the level, which means the first time you enter a level, you'll never pass the level. You'll always die. Okay. But you have to look at the level. And when you come across an obstacle, there's more than one way sometimes to get past that obstacle. And then the next time you play, you have to pick which power up will help me get past this obstacle in the level. And it's just one of those simply simplified interfaces, but yet gorgeous backgrounds and stuff. Um, Shockingly good is the way that I'll put it.
Nice.
Shockingly good game.
This is what I was looking for. This might have been my first cell phone. Yeah, it might have been. Maybe not. I don't know. But you ever seen one of these? You're not even looking.
I was looking at the chat thinking you were gonna send a link. I don't know, have I?
Well, I'm showing you a picture.
Okay. I don't know if I've seen one of them. Let me do this so the listener sees that there. I don't know if I've seen that exact kind, but I have my one upstairs, which is
Um,
similar.
so this was a Boost mobile phone.
See,
I don't know.
Boost didn't exist when I got my first one.
Yeah, is Boost even around still?
Yeah.
They are. Okay.
So does that
Um,
outside have any screen on it whatsoever?
yeah. Yeah, it actually, if I remember correct, I could plug it in and charge it back up, but I'm pretty sure that it actually has a decent screen, plus you could make calls from it. Like, I believe it had the
Mhm.
number pad and everything on there. So it's all the mirrored finish, but
Right. I like that finish, I ain't gonna lie.
it's a Sanyo, the phone.
Huh.
Um, so maybe I'll bring this next episode too, but Qualcomm 3G. I was definitely a later adopter of the cell phone. So I'll try to find this thing
Well,
here.
I ain't gonna lie. The only reason I got a smartphone was because it meant that my then girlfriend could contact me when she saw fit. And I got no problem saying, whatever. You want to contact me, I'll be there. Because I could be
Page
dying in
me.
a ditch.
Page me.
I don't think I had a pager.
Yeah, the Sanyo Incognito.
Good name.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I will say this. I think if we were somehow able, I'm gonna say this very kindly, Josh. I'm just as guilty. There was some way we could possibly have shorter shows. I think Ivor could be more uh, able. So honestly, part of me is thinking, well, maybe if I did one or two shows during the week before we did this show, just doing all the stupid links I can't stop bringing, possibly make the show shorter. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's better to have Ivor here.
Yeah.
But maybe he could also just hang out for a while and then bounce when he wants to.
Well, I
Not
got yeah. I
the
have no
entire time.
problem setting him as a priority, and then when he gets tired, he bounces. Because quite literally, we all have that friend. Hypothetically, we have our garage door open. We're playing darts or whatever. He comes over and has to leave early because he does. So we all shut our mouths and we listen to him because we know his time is limited. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, time to document the applications and the links.
He's also the only one that seems to be able to keep his brother in check in the chat room.
I don't even bother, man. Too much like work. On my oldest one, TMLW, man. TMLW.
Too much
Much like work.
work.
My kid, I love him, does nothing. My oldest does nothing. I told him, I said, "You are unbelievable. You are so spoiled. You literally don't know what it means to do work. Everything is too hard, too much like work."
Yeah, it's I
He got
completely
mad at me.
understand that.
He got mad at me. I said, "Look, the only reason you're mad is because you know I'm right." Parsec. Parsec. This is the technology to me that almost seems like giddy in its possibilities.
Which one's that?
Parsec, because quite literally, I
Oh.
could be on my Android device, you could be on a Linux desktop, Ivor could be on a Windows desktop, and we could literally multiplayer, even though the game never once intended it to be that kind of multiplayer. I do more research into it.
No, it seems I like it. I mean, obviously, if it's half of what it could be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's Moonshades. I'm trying to remember the name of the Intellivision game. I can't remember. I cannot remember. No, I played the living hell out of it on Intellivision, let me tell you.
I was trying to remember, or I was looking up when that Dungeon Explorer app. Um, there was a game when I was in, jeez, I don't know, 1,000 years ago, grade school, I think, maybe middle school. Um, called Maze Wars.
Mm.
It's cool, but it was the Apple IIe,
Ah,
I do believe. It might have been one of the first Macs, actually, and it was a LAN game,
right.
and it's just yeah, it is. You're just these. It's Tron type graphics, and you're a robot, and you just go around in a maze, and then when you run into somebody, shoot them. Hours and hours on that game in the computer lab at school.
Exactly.
There's another one called I think it was called oh, it's called Sherwood Forest.
Hey, did you wanna do an intro?
Um, I could do. Let me just export this file. Sherwood Forest was a Robin Hood, same type of like, but it was text based. Well, it had graphics, but you'd put go north, go south, whatever.
Right, right, right.
And if you were not that I ever did this, if you were derelict enough to put in a swear word into the game, it sent you to, I believe it was the maze of potty mouth or something like
Huh,
that.
huh.
And so basically you get into there and then you're trying to get out of the
Yeah,
maze before the teacher comes around and sees what you're doing.
okay. 12 links. Show, which is fine.
Hey, good job on picking up the slack on naming all the apps.
No problem, man.
Caught me off guard.
I'm just doing my part. We got, St. Patrick's Day coming here shortly.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody in the chat room too. That was a
It was that was a pretty active, chat there
it was. That
compared
was
to some
fun.
other shows there.
Unfortunately, it's with only two people, it's much more difficult to
Yeah, to keep track.
yeah.
I know.
Luckily,
Swift.
we have friends in there that can play with themselves. No, that's not what that didn't come out right.
Oh, yeah.
People in there that can keep each other company.
Six of one, half dozen of another. So I have to rename this file. I do laugh, almost not really, at the people who think we literally just click one button and just do everything we do, and then click one button and then we're done. I tried to explain to somebody that no, it literally takes me an hour to prepare for a show. An hour before the show, it takes me an hour's worth of work to get everything set and lined up. They were like, "What?" Yeah, I gotta do all the social media thing. I gotta set the streams and feed. I gotta do all the pre-pop, which I learned now the correct term is pre-pop. So all the pre-population for everything. So when the show is done, the post-production is less work. Putting in like in the YouTube feed, all the, Discord link, Podnutz links, show links, Patreon links, spreadsheet links, iTunes links, RSS links, email links, blah, 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 blah. And just
Well, at least you have the parlance down now. Pre-pop.
pre-pop, and it made a lot of sense when they explained it to me. Yeah, pre-pop, yes, yes. And I am with you. When I say I'm with you, I don't mean I'm with you. Seen that movie?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
My Blue Heaven, Steve Martin.
Oh, I
Mm.
did watch the Alec Baldwin speech from Glengarry Glen Ross yesterday,
Oh,
though.
I was gonna say you almost scared the hell out of me. Okay, that's fine. That was Glenn Ross was pretty good.
It is pretty good.
It is. First time I watched it, I'm sitting there watching, like, what the hell am I watching?
Coffee's for closers, man.
I was really confused the first time. Okay, so now next, unlisted, save.
Tell you one thing about living out in the sticks, which I don't think I can ever go back to the city, is like after that, when you went to take a leak, I went to take a leak and just went out the back door and pissed in my yard.
Well, I can do that here. I just might get the cops called on me.
Yes, okay. I'll qualify that without the fear of having the cops called.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Video. Okay. And the video is going to be called Nose. Nose. Yeah, when I talk for more than a couple minutes, I don't know if you noticed for the last month, I thought to get congested.
Oh yeah.
And my nose just starts gets full, and my nose starts to get full.
Still haven't. I still haven't created a start link or anything for Nextcloud. Still just running the app image from my downloads folder.
Dude, I tell you, man,
Ridiculous.
I'm still genuinely impressed at the stability of the Nextcloud stuff that I've been running.
Oh, it's fantastic product. Like yeah, it's you want to talk about development. Like when they I don't know, I haven't even looked at OwnCloud in a long time, but
Right,
Nextcloud
exactly. Why would you?
just yeah, this went nuts.
Yeah, it's like looking at, OpenOffice when
Yeah.
LibreOffice exists. Why would you?
Well, I actually had a guy I told him, I don't know, over a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe that he should be running Linux and that I'd help him do it and help him install it. And he called me out on it
Ah,
a couple days ago. So he brought his computer over. He brought two over, put Linux Mint on one that was a Windows 8 machine, and then put Lubuntu on one that was an XP machine.
right.
And then I made the mistake of saying, "Oh yeah, I should have an SSD in here. Oh, can you do that? Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
So did that, and there was a point to the story, and I have no idea what it was. What were we talking about before?
Being outside. Um, how OpenOffice, LibreOffice, how
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
So I'd
the split second that LibreOffice came out, how does OpenOffice still even exist?
yeah. Well, then that's exactly what it was. Is he, we're looking at it, and I was like, okay, so instead of Microsoft Office, it has LibreOffice. It's basically the same thing. Do da da. And then he said, "Oh, I've been using OpenOffice for a while." I said, "Okay, well,
Well, there you go.
there's an upgrade, and you're welcome."
Exactly. Did you do a intro? I can't remember.
No, not yet. I've been mulling it.
I seriously couldn't remember. I wasn't trying to, call you out.
No, no, no. Hey, you done an intro yet or what? I'm just trying to. I want to do something different.
Okay, I'm here. Bang, bag, bada bing.
All right, sit back, enjoy, listen to one smart guy and Josh talk about Android apps, hardware, software, and whatever else comes along in this episode of Android App Addicts number 561. What do you think? Go with it?
Good, different. I
Different.
like different. Catch people off guard.
Plus, I called you the smart guy, so
Huh,
got that
you're
going.
dreaming. I gotta stop yawning. Yeah, so I gotta set an appointment up. I gotta set multiple appointments up. I gotta set an appointment up, a rescheduling, a reoccurring appointment for physical therapy for my shoulder, because my orthopedics said this is the second time you've had physical therapy. I can also ask you to go take an MRI, and I already know what's going to happen because I've been doing this for so long. You're going to need surgery on your right shoulder. So I don't know when that's going to happen.
All right, so you have to schedule the surgery still? You already went to the doctor? Is that what happened?
I went to the doctor. I still have to do physical therapy for 10 sessions. No, no, no.
Okay.
12 sessions.
Once a week or how often?
How often they tell me to do it, she said.
Okay.
She expect them to tell me 2 to 3 times a week. Um, in the same time, schedule an MRI. Hopefully, she said you can get it done in less than 3 weeks. And in 4 weeks, you come back, and then we'll actually schedule the surgery. Because I can't do basically anything over my head. If I have to do anything, it's not good. You know, it like hurts bad. Like
That sucks, man.
I explained to her, I'm not exercising, mind you. I'm just walking, and I'm walking like 2 to 3 miles when I can, and like halfway through, just the up and down motion of walking, I can feel my shoulder slipping out of socket, and it hurts. It hurts bad. And it's like I told her, I said I have a really good tolerance for pain, and like she was doing something, and she said, "Does that hurt?" And I just looked at her. I said, "What do you think?" She said, "I think it hurts, but I think you're doing a really good job." I said, "You're right. It hurts, but I can also take it." I said, "I'm Irish. I can take a lot."
But usually that's in the form of whiskey.
Well, yeah, but she knew something was wrong. She said, "When I came in and I went to shake your hand, and it took you like a second and a half to shake my hand. Only somebody in pain moves that slow to shake a hand. Oh, okay.
Right, so I uploaded the regular file. You should have that. And
561 Josh AAA 53 megs exactly.
yeah, yeah. So I decided to go against naming conventions.
As,
Apparently,
as long as I can identify it, that's all I care about.
yeah. Well, I like to be
Absolutely
consistent.
no energy. It's been 10 years now. Switz has been in the city for 10 years. Damn. There you go. AAA 561 intro.
Oh, is he talking about? I thought he was talking about Open Office,
No, no,
LibreOffice.
no. Swift said, I remember a time when I used to like walk out back and pee or
No, that
something.
was Stiz. I thought. Oh, I'm confused now.
I don't know. Dang it.
Yeah, Thiz said that he used to walk outside,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Swift said he hasn't been used Open Office.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been since I used Open Office or Star Office. It's been a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I fired up LibreOffice Drive or LibreOffice Drive, LibreOffice Draw last
Yeah.
night, um, and to try to edit a PDF. So I was telling you about that, the Cake PHP project where they want to do a, I don't know, just trying to render a PDF, but now I need to populate fields, and so I wanted to add fields to this PDF to make it easier to populate the fields. Like insert this variable into this field.
Right.
Seems like should be a fairly rudimentary task.
I don't know what that. Okay.
Well, I'm sure I could do it in something other than PHP or this Cake PHP. It's fucking ridiculous. The sorry about the swear there, guys. Almost under the breath. The and so yeah, I couldn't do it. I ended up paying for another
Yep.
a product that I had before, but I had an older version, so they wouldn't let me install it again.
Right.
Called Master PDF Editor. And if you're looking for a PDF editor for Linux, it's not open sourced, unfortunately, but it is very robust.
Exactly. Does it work?
Yeah, it works, and yeah, bought
Yeah.
it for the second time.
You're not the first person I heard say that.
Master PDF editor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Third person I heard say it. And they all say they hate it. They hate the people behind it. They hate everything about it, but damn it, it works.
yeah, it does. I don't know anything about the people behind it, but it does work.
Uh, try this. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm an idiot. Okay. So, oh, man. News is killing me, man. And people, look, from the time I was young in high school, I had many people believe I had narcotic addictions, is the way that I'll put it, because I always have nose pain. And I try to explain to them, no, I don't do cocaine or
Why you
anything.
got some?
No. Well, and I literally had people say, "Hey, man, I got some. Do you want?" No, I don't. What? Ain't my stuff good enough for you? I don't do it. Oh man, my stuff ain't good enough for you. No, I don't do that. Yes, you do. I can tell because you always. And I'm like, no, man, my nose has been broken like 10 times. Yeah, that's what they say. Oh, jeez.
Uh,
So that's another reason why I'm not on Facebook. I don't want to talk to them people.
that's a great scene in what's that movie called? Kingpin.
Oh, Kingman's good.
When he's talking, like I
Uh,
think it is the reporter or something is talking to Woody Harrelson, and he's like, so you quit drinking a couple years ago, whatever it was, and da da da. He's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. Why you buying?
yeah. I like, oh man, I can't remember the comedian's name. He's dead now.
George
Stand-up
Carlin.
No.
Sam
Young
Kinison.
no,
Yeah.
no, you ain't getting this name, I'm telling you. A younger stand-up comedian who said, "I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to do them as well." His, like, pace of comedy
Oh, is
was
that, Mitch Hedberg?
Mitch Hedberg, thank you.
What do
Oh
you mean I'm
god.
not gonna get it?
Well, you
Mitch
didn't, did you?
Hedberg.
You didn't until I
Oh,
said that.
yeah.
Mitch Hedberg, my god, he was so funny. I've seen a good amount of comedians live. I've seen George Carlin live.
Oh, nice.
I've seen more than a couple comedians live, more than a couple. Chris Rock live. He's the
Eddie
guy.
Eddie
I wish I
Murphy?
could. No, I can't afford no Eddie Murphy concert, man. Are you crazy?
Oh, back in the day.
Nah, back in the day, I was too inept, is the way I'll put it. But yeah, Mitch Hedberg, oh man, he's the guy I wish I could have seen live. And I would literally like threw money at on the stage, just threw money
Well,
at him.
he was in, So I Married an Axe Murderer? He was the pilot, I
Was
believe.
he?
I believe so,
I'm
yeah.
calling you out for Boulder Dash.
And that's another great film.
Oh, that's fantastic. Are you
It only
kidding?
has 3 stars on IMDb.
Well,
Wow.
because listen, I'm okay with it having 3 stars because I'm okay with not a lot of people loving that movie because it's parts of it is really bad.
Oh, I don't know, it's fantastic.
It has good points, I'm not gonna lie. It has a
Oh, it's
really good.
not it's Stephen Wright, not Mitch
Ah,
Hedberg.
Stephen Wright. Stephen Wright was good, man. One of the best Stephen Wright interviews I ever heard was on, the Carson podcast where Stephen Wright said, um, "Johnny Carson made my career 2 different times. I owe nobody in my life more than owe Johnny Carson." And then he goes through, uh, what was happening before this, what was happening during this, how Johnny Carson affected his career. And he said, "The whole time I'm thinking, why is this guy doing this for me? I'm nobody. I'm like a turd. People don't know who I am." He like swears to other people how I'm funny. And I'm like, I'm not sure you listen to any of my stuff.
Is Now I'm confusing myself between the 2 of them. Do they have a similar cadence?
Slightly.
They're kinda
Mitch is
deadpan.
a little bit deadpan. Mitch is more lively. Stephen Wright's Stephen Wright sounds like he's on some really like heavy things, and he can never talk faster than this. Where Mitch Hedberg could talk faster than that. Stephen Wright was like permanently slowed down, and he was just so ugly. Oh god, he was so ugly. Mitch was not ugly. Mitch might not have been, utterly desirably sexy, but he was not. Stephen Wright was
Yeah, yeah.
Stephen Wright was damn near ugly, but funny, really funny. One of the most underrated guys I think in Hollywood.
Who's that?
Stephen Wright.
Steve Wright, okay. Sorry, I was just watching, Mitch Hedberg.
Oh, Mitch Hedberg was so good, so good.
Yeah,
His like pace, his
that's what I'm talking about is the pace where
yeah,
there's, like, it is, like, this, whereas Mitch Hedberg
yes,
is faster, but he has, like, these dramatic pause or,
yes, he
the
does.
pauses through,
He gives you time to
which
think.
doesn't Stephen Wright have that as well? But he just talks slow the
He yes,
whole
he does, but I
time.
honestly I think Mitch Hedberg did it better. 'Cause he would say something and then let's literally just, like, turn to the side and just look at a random person in the audience like, you over there, you got that, didn't you?" And then everybody else would slowly get what he was saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How did he die?
I believe it was a drug overdose.
Yeah, of course it was.
Well, he
I
did
mean,
say.
Stephen Wright died too, didn't he?
No, he's still
Oh, he's
alive.
still around?
I
Oh,
thought so.
what's he doing now?
I'm sure he's begging for work like everybody else. Or yes. I'm pretty sure Stephen Wright's alive.
It's
Stephen
just so funny,
Wright.
man. Uh,
StephenWright.com. Wow,
yeah,
he
he's
looks horrible.
1955.
64 years old, never mind. He doesn't look horrible. He's from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Yeah. And I look for Stephen Wright because it knows me. The first result is so I married an axe murderer cast. Stephen Wright, Mike Myers, Nancy Travis, who let me tell you something, she's never looked that good since. Ant- Anthony Paglia, the cop. Brendan Fricker, his mom. Oh God, she was funny. Phil Hartman. Oh man, Phil Hartman. I
Yeah,
feel
Phil Hartman, another one
Phil
funny.
Hartman and Robin Williams are two of the guys when I think about I want to cry because they were two of the funniest guys I could have imagined in my life. Two of the
George
nicest.
Carlin too, like
No, he was not nice. He was a
no,
jerk.
but funniest. You said
Oh,
funniest as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. Drop that funny. But two of the
Smart.
nicest guys who ever could have existed. Robin Williams, Phil Hartman, who got completely wrong end of the stick. Robin Williams was a demon of his own making. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. George Carlin created everything around him, good, bad, and indifferent. You know what I mean? And when I saw him live, he was literally fresh out of rehab, and the first words out of his mouth was, "We just had a tsunami over in like India, where like 100,000 people died. Maybe it should have killed more people." Like, oh,
Yeah, that's what
damn!
you. Yeah, that's what you had mentioned
Like,
in the
wow!
boxer
Take
chat.
it easy, George. You're a little bitter, man.
Yeah, well, he hasn't had drugs in however
Yeah.
many months.
Well, 30 days. It was just 30 days. Okay. He went into rehab, got right out, immediately did a show, and he was not happy about it.
I don't know, but Stephen Wright needs to get some SSL on his website.
Ha! I don't think he knows what SSL is. Again, he's 60.
Maybe it's a stutterer Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
No, maybe no. SSL. I guess it's SNL. God, I'm so not hip anymore.
I tell you, I
Literally.
haven't watched Saturday Night Live in at least 12, 20 years. I don't know, somewhere around there. I did watch the Eddie Murphy episode from maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm just going to say it like this. Some of it was unbelievably politically correct. Some of it was not. Overall, it was pretty damn funny, is what I'm going to say.
Nice. No, I'm just pissed that there's that they've taken so many like the ebony and ivory and that whole thing. Like
Oh, well,
just
yeah.
cannot find things.
Yeah, they have to take that down. That's so politically correct. I mean, politically incorrect. They can't broadcast that anymore. People will go crazy.
But where no one has it, like you can't.
Oh, I did one time have a copy of it because it was so hard to find. When I found it, I said I'm going to keep a copy of it.
I wonder if you can find Sam Kinison.
Oh, you can find Sam Kinison, I'm pretty sure. That's not super easy.
That dude was crazy, man.
Well, he was quite inebriated, intoxicated, and everything else. Yes. I will say, I want to say the way I found the Saturday Night, the way I found the Joe Piscopo, Eddie Murphy, Ebony and Ivory doing Frank Sinatra and Stevie Wonder was I actually was able to find the actual broadcast of the Saturday Night Live episode, which I want to say was 1982. And what I did was I bought the entire season or I rented the entire season off of some service and I screen grabbed that sketch because I was so happy I actually found the damn thing.
Hmm.
That was the only way I was able to find it. And this was like 2005. I couldn't find it anywhere. I remember
That's crazy.
I remembered some of the lines, not all of the lines. And then after listening to all of the lines, I say, yes, I understand now why people would be very upset by at like hearing this.
Yeah, but it's also
It's history.
it is,
Stuff like that needs to be archived and shared.
and it's a black dude and a white dude.
Yeah.
You know, like if they're not allowed to make fun of their own race and
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to a really good episode today. I'll tell you, if you want a history about race and stuff. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. It was sort by publication date, new to
I
old.
want to be a hoe. Oh man, I think I might have just found it, man.
Well, that's good. See, I don't see it here. There were oh, it was a stuff you should know. That's what it was. Stuff you should know. Sammy Davis Jr., National Treasure. The stuff that guy went through. My goodness.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't believe he didn't die when he was like 20. The way he put himself out there. So hold on, let me do this. I see you put the link there. Let me
Yeah,
click
man.
on here.
Do you do your own hair? No. Then you got no excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like
Oh, Vidia? Vidia.hu. What the hell is
yeah,
that?
hungry. Maybe
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it works though.
It's the whole thing too.
Yeah.
So now the question is, how do you save this video?
Don't know.
I can't remember the little white guy's name who was supposed to be the producer. Can't remember what his name was. Wow. Eddie was so good.
So good. I mean, one of my favorite stand-ups was Delirious.
The one that looked like a bra. Of course, Eddie ain't playing nothing.
No.
Such talent. About racial equality. Okay, I'm downloading it via YouTube DL.
Who cares what the Eskimos think? They don't buy music or they don't buy records.
It's too artsy for the public. Capiche?
Yeah. Capiche?
Oh my goodness. 1982, I was right.
Crazy.
With a bounce, baby. Oh my God.
You know, I think one of my favorite skits of all time is Shoot, what's it called? What's his name? Higby.
My goodness.
Uh, the Chappelle, like the one of the first Chappelles.
Okay, YouTube DL looks like it was able to successfully download that. I'll be able to have it on my Plex server. Yep. Okay, so now we're gonna rename it from Eddie Murphy, Stevie Wonder. It's not really appropriate.
Clayton Bigsby. You know that, right?
I noticed the name.
The black white supremacist.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Oh
Uh,
no, really? Oh, Dora, you gotta watch this. Oh
so,
man.
thanks. Make sure this is named appropriately so I can find it when I want to. It's going to be called Eddie Murphy dash Stevie Wonder space Episcopo dash Frank Sinatra
Oh no, that's not the right video.
and Ivor.
Oh, that's part two. Where's part one? Uh,
Okay, now, okay, home. Replace. Replace. Why isn't it doing that? Okay, so let me come here.
mhm.
Eddie Murphy public audio raw convert. That's where I want it. Okay, now I can easily put it on my Plex server. Sorry, I had to do that.
Oh no, I'm still trying. I don't know why this is so difficult as well. I mean, this. Oh my
YouTube DL did it for me.
god. Nice.
And now it's like my keyboard stopped working here in the VM. That's not good. No, that's not good. Okay, so
Man, Dave Chappelle is genius.
Dave Chappelle is good, and I will tell you this. I don't think people understand how funny he is, and I don't think they will for like another 10, 15 years. Because right now there are people that just hate him.
Oh, it's not her.
There you go.
Yeah, well.
I know.
Oh my
People
god.
hated people hated George Carlin when he was at his peak too.
Oh,
Back to life.
God's sakes.
I tried to convince the wife to watch the last Dave Chappelle special.
Yeah.
She didn't. Okay, I'm going to kill the live feed here in a couple seconds. Thank you guys for coming out. Oh, here's the thing, Red, with YouTube DL. You should never load it on your base default operating system because it changes and YouTube constantly changes. So no matter when you get it to work, it's going to break. Might take 3 weeks, might take 3 months to get it to break. So I always put it in a VM and it seems to last more longer than not, is what I'll say. Let me just take a peek. Okay. So it should be there. So I'm going to delete it from here. Good. All right. All right, guys. I'm going to kill the stream. Thank you guys for coming out.
Yeah, thanks guys. That was fun.
Bang, bang, bang. Okay. Stream. Okay.